Hello everyone, going to be looking at some altcoins and LTCs thrown in here as well. Not calling LTC an altcoin at this point, but its market cap has fallen and other names have taken the lead. So it's on the list here. We're going to look at OMG LTC BNB IOTA and CVC, and we'll get back to the other names that I usually cover tomorrow. Going to start it off with OMG on the daily time frame. Very strong bull move, all-time highs. We are consolidating off of that all-time high. We are pretty extended to the upside, but we do keep seeing higher lows and higher highs. So the most recent supports that I'm looking at here are 524 and then another higher low at 608. So we have an inside bar forming on the daily time frame showing a tightening range. We zoom in for more details. Look on the 4-hour time frame. We can see we bounced off of 621. Make that we bounced off of 608 and then 608 again. So that's a double low and a must hold in the short term. If I were in a position currently exiting, I would exit if that level were to break just because we have bounced off of it twice. Current resistance, I'm looking up at 838 because we made a bounce attempt and rejected from that level. So moving this line up to 838. And then we've got the all-time high, another resistance level to be looking at, and that is up there at 955 essentially. So we are coming off of that all-time high. We have consolidated significantly, pulling back. The 4-hour time frame formed a bullish reversal candlestick and is trying to confirm it. Look at the volume climax. It was the highest volume candlestick on this pullback, indicating the bottom, the temporary bottom, at least for now, and now we're seeing a bounce. This is a potential bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern where we have our left shoulder, the head, and now that we are bouncing, potential to form a right shoulder. The neckline is at the same level, so it's a horizontal line, and if that breaks, it is a very clear bear break. So that is the level to be watching in terms of support, and we'll see if the bulls can get any kind of follow-through and recovery. To get follow-through and recovery on the hourly time frame here, we're not going to break this resistance on this move. That's unlikely at 838. We are going to likely have to consolidate, form a higher low, and then break wherever we top out on this current bull move. It's very unlikely that you break the lower high pattern after bouncing right off of the low. You usually, depending on how far away it is, you usually have to set a higher low and then a higher high to look to change the trend. So the bulls are in the middle of a bounce. The question is going to be, can they form this hourly higher low and higher high sometime over the next 24 hours and watch that double low of support? That is a very key level. And if I were looking to go short, I would absolutely go short on a break of that support. LTC has had some news giving some bullish action, and we actually have a nice uptrend line that just caught my eye on this daily time frame to be watching. Let's see how it plays out if we can draw it here, and it does look good. That's a solid uptrend line. Very valid with all those touches, and that's definitely one to keep an eye on. In terms of resistance, we're looking at our recent high of 47.35, and then that 52 level, 52 resistance is very key, because if we break 52, we're right on our way to the all-time high, because we topped out at 51.86, 52 on the dot, and then 52 on the dot. So that is the level where if the bulls break 52, a new all-time high is likely, in my opinion, because all the traders, including myself, will see that key resistance break and will get in for the benefit of that all-time high, which will be less than 10% away at that point. So the bulls are seeing some solid upside on the daily time frame. The 4-hour time frame, let's see these spikes. So when you see these spikes in Litecoin, it's very notorious for seeing short-term bull moves, in the sense that we have one candlestick with a ton of action and then a lot of consolidation. So we've seen that a couple times now where we have news coming out, news is coming out, we've got updates. Either way, the market is perceiving it bullish with some bounce. There has been correlation still with Bitcoin and Ethereum, which have been pulling back today, and that has weighed on the bulls a bit, but this news is allowing the bulls to break the correlation to some degree. So support down here, 43.50, and our lower high below that level, 42.80. So those are the two key support levels to be watching, and resistance on this move, 47.35 is the top and the level that the bulls need to break to see continuation. Hourly time frame, we have a lower high here, so the bulls need to break that before breaking this support. So 43.50 is a must hold, and the bulls must break 47.35 to be looking for follow through. So that's what we're watching on Litecoin. We did see a nice bounce play out on this daily time frame, and there's certainly still an uptrend intact. So I'm going to be watching very close to see if the correlation can continue to break from the other two names a bit, and if we continue to hold this uptrend on the daily time frame. It's essentially an ascending triangle with a horizontal resistance line and an uptrending slope of support. We could trade within this for another month, essentially, probably Not going to last that long, maybe 2-3 weeks at the most. But this is one to be watching for swing traders, absolutely. BNB is its own exchange, so I have to chart it on its exchange. It's doing a promo where it's offering no fees and trading, and this BNB is really rocketing to the upside. We've had a lot of members making tons of gains. Personally, I'm not moving my capital onto this foreign exchange that's brand new. I'm not that trustworthy. It's been going great for members. They've been testing out, deposits and withdrawals, and it's been fine. There's no red flags in regard to that. It's just me and my capital. I'm going to be extra safe with it. So the bulls have been very strong. Something we need to keep in mind as they are doing this promotion with no fees and they're trying to get their name out there. They're likely doing everything they can to see this price see a ton of strength. And we have seen 1,000% move over the last month. And just keep in mind, you want to be protective. Obviously, there's big gains. We've had people make multiple hundreds of percent, but you just want to be protective of these gains because if the company is propping the price up, whether it's buying it or whatever, there's no inside trading in the crypto space, then we just want to be cautious because at some point the rug may get pulled out. So here on the hourly time frame, and whoever is in charge of picking these colors needs to be fired, but they're doing their own thing. Good for them, but that is god-awful ugly. So we've got lower highs and higher lows on the hourly time frame. And key support that I'm looking at, and I'm going to skip the decimal places here because there are a lot of them. Well, we've got 0.005 as support, and then our most recent higher low of support is 0.0051. So there are clear levels. You can see we're getting very tight on the hourly time frame. And for the bulls to break resistance, I'm looking at a little double top on the hourly, and that's up at 587. So 5-1 support, 5-8-7 resistance, getting very tight. If we break 5-1 and 5, we will likely see more significant pullback. And let's just look at the daily time frame. And apologies, I do not know how to navigate this chart software very well. But that's the daily chart, not much price action. But you can see we were down here in the 0.00004 zeros, and now we're up here in the 0.30. So that is 1,000% gain from just a few weeks ago. So we are getting a little toppy, obviously, but the bulls are certainly running it with volume. And at this point, bulls are fine holding on unless we break that 5 level. IOTA, daily time frame coming off the all-time high, bearish reversal candlestick being confirmed. Key support is down at 75 cents and 76.11. So those are two key levels. Bulls have bounced off of those levels, but if we were to break those, we know more significant consolidation is coming. Same thing. Have to be careful of the potential bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern. This is never a pattern that would cause me to sell. It's just something that would have me watching to know my exit point. So left shoulder, head, we haven't even really started the bounce yet, but if we see a right shoulder and come back down to the support level of 75, we know that if 75 breaks, the reversal is underway. So we did just form a bullish reversal hammer, and we're trying to confirm that on the 4-hour time frame. And looking in a little bit more detail, let's get rid of this pattern. But the hourly time frame, trying to see a bounce play out, we need higher lows and higher highs to try and reverse this trend. So 75 is the must-hold support. Current resistance, I'm looking at 914 and 995. Those are the two key levels for the bulls to be watching for resistance. And overall, bulls just fine unless 75 breaks. CVC, and this is measured in BTC, so we're coming off of an all-time high as well. And we're consolidating, and we've consolidated very significantly. The volume is dropping off, which is a good sign for the bulls. Support is 1043 and 1044, and this is a bullish reversal candlestick trying to form here on the daily, although this day just flipped over 3 hours ago, so a long way to go. But on the 4-hour time frame, we can try and watch for a higher low and higher high to start forming. Very clear lower high, lower low pattern. Look at how clear this bear break was. If you were in this trade earlier on, I personally would have exited when this consolidation low broke because we have our low, or make that our high, all-time high, low of the pullback, lower high, higher low, trading sideways, bear break. And we pulled back fairly significantly from that bear break. So I'm looking at resistance right now. A couple bounce attempts. We topped out at 13.8 and then up to 13.97 and then up to 15.7. Those are 3 resistances to be watching and the must-hold support. You can see the 4-hour candlestick hasn't even been confirmed yet, so it's not a solid level of support just yet, but that is down again at 104. Hourly time frame, bounce just trying to start playing out now, not very significant at this point. So that's what we've got for these altcoins. A lot of them have some very clear key supports on the daily, longer term time frames, and in terms of bullish action. Right now, BNB is obviously the leader. Highly suggest, if you are interested in that exchange, doing some research into it and seeing if it is for you. Certainly high risk, high reward. And with this promo, with no fees, trying to grow their exchange, and we'll see if they become a regular household name sometime in the future. I appreciate you watching. Have a good rest of your weekend. Continuing to knock out the course, and I will check back in with Bitcoin, Litecoin, or I should say Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Neo sometime tomorrow morning. See you then.